Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Hey guys, welcome back to Three Terrible Gamers Podcast. This is episode 70 and I'm here with Colin.
Hey guys.
Alright, like we said last week, we got a whole new fresh set of topics to go over, so we'll just jump into it. Nintendo and Illumination's Smash Bros. Movie plans have reportedly leaked.
Goodbye to the movie.
Yeah.
With the massive popularity of the Super Smash Bros. Movie, some people working on Illumination have started speculating what other Nintendo properties could become the next animated blockbuster, and some are hoping to create a cinematic universe similar to the Marvel's Avengers by working with Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Surprisingly has rich lore beyond just being a fighting game with a massive roster. The general concept of Smash Bros. Series is that each character is a toy. That's why they become trophies after defeating Master Hand in Nintendo 64 and I believe in Melee as well.
Yeah.
And, when they're done being played with.
Right.
So, the fact that there is a thing, then obviously we know they're doing a live action Zelda as well. Right. So it don't really surprise me about this thing, especially coming from Illumination employees, which I don't know how they're technically getting away with that, or I say they'll probably be laid off or fired for it.
Yeah. I think one way they may be getting away with it is it's not confirmed yet. It's something they're wanting to pitch to Nintendo.
Gotcha. So you think Illumination's trying to pitch it?
Yeah, I think Illumination's trying to pitch it to Nintendo, and that's why they're getting away with it being leaked, because Nintendo won't confirm or not if they accept or not, and Illumination, if they do accept, will not be allowed to talk about it from there on. So the only reason they're getting away with it now is because it's not official yet, it's just a pitch, from what I understand.
Yeah, even though it's considered a leak, which I know that's just, a leak is a rumor technically.
Right.
To an extent, unless it's like documents leaked, then obviously that's a different story.
Right.
What storyline do you think they'll more base it off of if they decide to do it?
I'm hoping Melee, but I'd say probably Ultimate. Because it has more of an actual storyline, I guess. But technically, you can make a story with, or they may even do the original Smash Bros. Somehow, make like the toy-like figures come to life or something, I don't know. It's Illumination Nintendo, they'll figure it out, but...
Did the first one have 16 characters unlockable after everything was beat, or was it 8, or somewhere between 8 and 16?
For some reason, I'm thinking 12? I could be wrong.
You start off with 8, then you unlock a few more.
Yeah, I think maybe 12 was the final roster. I'm not sure. Maybe 16. Can't remember for sure.
Yeah, I never played the 64 version. I played Melee and on.
So I've played
and I know
64
Melee
version
30.
just like on emulators and stuff. I've never played the, on actual original hardware, but definitely Melee's better than the original. It's hard to go back.
Yeah. I don't know. Story-wise, I'm going to have to say I would think Brawl, because I think overall, and especially storyline, like getting up to the final boss and everything was more in depth than what Ultimate was.
Yeah, it may be Brawl. I played Brawl, but I liked Melee better. So I didn't play a whole lot of Brawl. I mainly went back to Melee because I just didn't like the Wii remotes. Yes, you can play with a GameCube controller in Brawl, but they ruined Fox in that game, and they're on after. So I just went back to Melee because I was a beast with Fox on Melee. So, and
Yeah.
like I said,
I
they
mean,
nerfed Fox
beat
so
that- I
much.
beat that. So I mean, I just played the Brawl to beat it, and I mean that story mode was so in depth, and especially when you hit like the little maze area, and if you didn't choose the white rooms or whatever, you just keep on going back to square one
Right? Yeah.
with it. So like, okay, but like I said, Brawl story wise to me was more in depth than what Ultimate was.
Yeah, it might be Brawl. We'll just have to wait and see if it's even, confirmed eventually on down the road. But the article...
Or they may do something.
Yeah.
Oh, they may do some weird stuff like how they done with the Mario movie too, because it's technically not based off any true Mario game.
Right. So you never know. They might do something completely original. And I'm kind of thinking that's what they'll do with the Zelda movie too, but I don't know.
Find out.
Yep. The article I have here on it says Nintendo confirmed a live-action Zelda movie set to be directed by Wes Paul. We've already went through that. And then it says according to Daniel Richmond, Illumination, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, who, Illumination helped make Super Mario Bros. Movie. Anyway, is going to present its vision for a Nintendo cinematic universe that will consist of multiple spin-off movies and an Avengers-style event film to wrap up the story. On paper, this makes perfect sense. There's clearly an appetite for animated Nintendo movies, as evidenced by the $1.3 billion box office of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Spin-offs starring the likes of Luigi, Toad, Peach, Donkey Kong, or Bowser would have no trouble finding an audience. The same is true of countless characters from other franchises like Kirby, Samus Aran, Captain Olimar and his Pikmin friends, Tom Nook, and Captain Falcon. So, so I guess it's just they're wanting to pitch it to Nintendo. Which, honestly, I could see Nintendo denying this. Because, yes, it could make a good movie because there's so many different characters and everything. But it may not make a good movie too. It could go either way. I mean, yeah, they can make it work because it's Nintendo and Illumination. They make good movies and good games. But I could also see Nintendo not just hearing it and then just denying it outright, because Super Smash Bros. Typically isn't made for an in-depth story. It's made for just fighting against your friends or whatever. They don't go heavily into the story usually. The story seems like more of an afterthought behind everything else.
Yeah, because especially the first two, like I said, I didn't play the first one, but I would assume it was even less in depth than what Melee was. But in Melee, you had two options. You had classic mode, which I'm assuming was the N64 version. You just fought a bunch of people.
Yeah, it is.
And then obviously in Melee, you had Adventure and Classic, so you had a story to run through. With it was the same story every single time. You could do different times different. Like if you beat the first level with like 2 seconds, well, a 2-second digit to end the timer, that's how you unlock Luigi in the adventure mode and stuff like that. So I mean, the adventure mode had secrets, but not like story secrets. It didn't tell a story, and everything repeated itself with every character.
Right. And Melee too, once you unlocked everybody, you unlocked All-Star mode.
Yeah.
To go along with Classic and Adventure. But yeah, either way, even with All-Star mode, there wasn't a story really. I mean, the closest thing you had to a story in that game was Adventure mode. And it wasn't really a story, because it was, like you said, it's the same for every character pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I know Nintendo wants to try the movie side of it more than just a game, but the fact that people's already trying to compare it to like a Avengers situation or a cinematic universe like that people don't realize that they would have to touch on all their games. They'd have to touch on Earthbound. They'd have to touch on Samus or Metroid in general. They'd have to break those stories down further because all those characters are playable characters. If that was the case, there's a lot more. I'm not saying there's a lot more. Obviously, I know comic book wise, there's a lot more Avengers and stuff than what there is melee characters at the end of the day.
Right.
Counting the whole cinematic universe situation.
Right, and like you're talking about, like the Avengers, like for the most part, the Avengers, all their movies and stories line up together. So they, like you said, they kind of have to do that within the Smash Bros. Community too if they want it to be Avengers-like. So like where they already had the Mario movie and they're having a Zelda movie, they'd have to have it kind of tie into the Smash Bros. Movie too if they're wanting to do it kind of like an Avengers style. Or if they're wanting to make it like original Super Smash Bros. Like the Super Mario movie and the Zelda movie didn't ever exist. Like they don't know anything about it. You know, stuff like that they could do, but it might be, I think I like stuff better when they do tie together and acknowledge other movies or other shows in the franchise.
Oh yeah, I mean that's all the Mario movie was for at the beginning part of it. You know, that you had the Punch Out Pizzeria, and you know, you had all kinds of just Nintendo stuff in the background.
Right. All right, we'll let you guys know when we find out something else about that, but so we'll just wait and see. Moving on to the next one, God of War Trilogy Remaster rumor.
Yeah, this, I mean, not really a shock. It's surprising to say the least, just because like I said, I think I played 2 as a kid for whatever reason. Somehow I managed to play it as a kid. But at the end of the day, the Trilogy Remaster would be coming to PS5 only, surprisingly enough. But like I said, this is all a rumor, so, you know, take it with whatever grain of salt you want to. How big, how small. But it wouldn't surprise me, especially since the Trilogy done pretty well with, what was it, PS2 and PS3?
Yeah.
Which I didn't know this because, like, I haven't played the second round of games at, you know, the 18 version or the Ragnarok that just came out. Is it? Yeah, it's God of War Ragnarok.
Yep.
I didn't realize that, which of course, like I said, I was a kid whenever I played the second game of it. I didn't realize that they switched from Greek mythology to Norse mythology with this next series. So the original 3 were based in the Greek, so obviously it's going to go for more of a nostalgic feel, because a lot of people are complaining that they did switch to the Norse side, surprisingly enough. Like, they still like the story and everything, but they was like, why'd you switch from Greek mythology to Norse mythology instead of, you know, keeping it all in the same thing, which I guess technically because, you know, in the older games, he beat all the gods he could beat, and all the, I guess, technically titans.
Yeah.
Not really. It's been a while since I've done mythology stuff. But, so, you know, obviously they would have to switch through. But if they decided to do this, because like I said, it is a rumor, it's rumored to be announced in 2024 and a possible release sometime in 2024 as well. Which I say if they do that, they'll just shadow drop it at that point, if that is the case. And then there's also that it would be announced in 2024, then it would come out in 2025.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's more of a nostalgia play. Do you think the same thing?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think they'll sell well because of people like the older generation. I mean, I guess we're technically part of the older generation now, I guess. But people like us, I guess, and then the younger generation that played the 2018 God of War, and then the newer Ragnarok came out, last year before, something like that. But
yeah. Well, come released 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So they'll sell well because of us and the newer generation, but I'm afraid that the newer generation won't know that they're 2 completely different kinds of games from, you know what I mean? Because the originals were just hack and slash, and the newer ones are more adventure games. So I'm afraid that this might see some backlash from some of the younger audience, that they're not expecting it to be different than what they're used to.
Yeah, because we even had this conversation the other day off the air, just you and me talking how we normally talk, is that you was explaining to me, because we've been asking you about Ragnarok. I know you played it, or not Ragnarok, the 2018 God of War, on your PC, that, you explained to me that it's no longer a true hack and slash, it's more adventure with some of that sprinkled in.
Yeah, it is. And I like it better, the newer formula, because I just like adventure games better. When I was younger, I did like hack and slashes, but now that I'm older, I like to think and do adventures. It's like a Zelda game, kind of. You're going out solving different puzzles, advancing through the story, whatever, and then hack and slash, kind of like a Zelda game. It's similar to Zelda in that way, which is why I think I like it better, because Zelda's my favorite franchise of all time. And I have went back and played the first two, actually the first three God of Wars on emulators and stuff, but I kind of always like going back to the 2018 one better, because it's just like the new formula.
Yeah, and I think I would be stuck with the original trilogy people, because I still catch myself playing Ninja Gaiden to the day, which is a true hack and slash of nature.
Yeah. Well, like,
and you got me on. I prefer, the normal Zelda as opposed to the Hyrule Warriors.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hyrule Warriors, they're all right, but I would rather play a traditional Zelda game. But, well, I may still try the trilogy out if it's a real thing, but just to hit the highlights of it, you pretty much covered. Really, it's a rumor, so you pretty much covered everything with it. I'll just hit the highlights. It says the original God of War trilogy, which chronicles Kratos' revenge against the Greek god of war, Ares, may be getting a remaster release for modern systems. The first two games were released on PS2 and the third game on PS3, with only the third game receiving a remaster on PS4 in 2015. The insider suggests that the remastered trilogy could be released in 2024 or 2025, but the scope of the remaster is not yet clear. So that's just the highlights of it, pretty much. So, like you said, 2024, it may be announced 2024 and released in 2024, shadow dropped, or it may be announced 2024 and released in 2025. I kind of agree with what you're saying. It's not something that they need to build a lot of hype behind to announce it a year early. It's something that they could announce in a Sony State of Play and release it that same day, or just release it a couple months later. Not something that really needs a lot of hype.
Yeah. You got the old heads like us that's going to buy it regardless or get it in some way, shape, or form, and then you got people that's just like, oh, okay, I've already beat the two that I've played, 18 and 22 version, so I'm going to play the old 3 to see what it's like,
right?
In case they don't have a PS2, PS3.
Right. I know some younger people, they'll do the research, they'll know that it's not their traditional God of War, but I'd say the majority will see, oh, look at this God of War trilogy, the older ones, let's pick it up, try it out. And they're going to be disappointed because it's not what they think.
I was just saying, I know for me personally, I haven't had a PlayStation since PS2, so, I've definitely never got to play the third one.
Right. I've played it on emulators, only reason I played it, but... Which I do have a PS3, I just for the longest time, didn't have a copy of it, so... Alright, we'll move on to the next one. Sticking, I guess, kinda with the PS3. Since I just mentioned it. The PS3 still has 2 million monthly active users.
Yeah, that actually kind of shocked me with that.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Me too, because, you definitely probably won't hear about the Xbox 360 generation. Or, what, even the Wii? Because that's technically part of the same generation.
The Wii
Which
still
was
has a
another
lot of
reason.
players, but I don't think it has 2 million players.
Well,
That's
yeah,
a,
2
that's a
million
lot of
players,
people.
But you know, PS3 and Xbox were more online focused, while Nintendo was like, I can really care less about it. You can do it, but you know, there's not really going to be anything set up for it.
Right.
But anyways, getting back on the topic form, PS3 has actually 1.9 million active users, but you know, close enough. It rounded up.
Yeah.
It released all the way back in 2006. We was 8.
Yeah. 17
so
years
how
ago.
old we are.
I am old.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in wash scent beads.
Yeah, you are just slightly younger than me.
Yeah, you're really old.
But it seems like a lot of people are still getting enjoyment out of the system, obviously. According to the information in a recent Insomniac leak, which, so, you know, going back to a topic we was talking about last week, it was, like I said, 1.9 million monthly users were still spending time with the console as of February of 2023. So technically this was from a year ago, so kind of take it with a grain of salt. But like I said, it goes into it because it is the Insomniac side of the leaks that we was talking about literally just last week. But at this point, it was, like I said, just a year ago. I'm reading this from, I believe, Game Rant.
Yeah, I'm the source for
and
it.
things have changed since then. We also don't have any idea where these consoles are located or what games are being played. Regardless, the number is obviously impressive, and it says a lot about the long-term enjoyment some gamers get out of their system. The most logical explanation for PS3's continued use of the console is the console library.
Yep.
Neither PS4 nor PS5 offered backwards compatibility with the PS3 games, leaving most systems games stranded. A lot of PS3 classics have been brought to the modern PlayStation consoles, including first-party games like Last of Us and God of War 3, and third-party favorites like Arkham Asylum, not Arkham Knight, Grand Theft Auto 5. That's insane, but well, yeah, because it was 2013 when it released, and that was the last year of it.
Yeah.
So even GTA 5 out on the PS3 right there at the end of its life cycle. That tells you anything.
Yep.
However, there is simply no way to access a lot of other PS3 games besides playing them on the original system. But, like I said, that you don't hear about that with any other console brand, surprisingly enough. But I know that Xbox 360 games wound up being backwards compatible on the Xbox One, so that does make sense to an extent. Then, like I said, the Wii went to the Wii U, so we don't really count that dilemma in itself or that comparison.
So yeah, that's kind of the point I was wanting to hit was, yeah, there's almost 2 million players still in the PS3, but it's because of those games being stuck on the PS3. Xbox, from it seemed like almost day one when the Xbox One released, they was focused on more and more games getting backward compatible. So that kind of, you didn't have to have an Xbox 360 anymore because you could play most, if not all, of your 360 library on your Xbox One. So I think that's the main reason you don't really hear about people playing on the 360, even though I do hear people modding their 360 and playing games, but like actually playing it how you're supposed to, you don't really hear that much.
No, and I mean, with a grain of salt too, because that was the thing Xbox One promised from the get-go was backwards compatibility, and it was still a good solid like year and a half before it actually even happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there was games here and there, and then you could go in there and vote for what games you wanted backward compatible next, and whichever one got the most votes, you know, they would do. And we voted for all the Call of Duties and stuff like that, and they eventually did support them, but it did take a while.
Yep.
All right, move on. Let's see what we got here. There's 2 more I want to hit for sure, because they're awesome. The 2 that I have left that I would definitely want to hit. GameCube launcher revealed.
Yeah, that's shocking to say the least, but it's a no solder open disk emulator Wi-Fi disk loading development by Team Off Broadway, launched from memory card screen. You launch in from the memory card screen, which is a cool thing to me because yet again, I'm not like Ash, and I don't really get heavily into emulating. So to me, I had to watch a whole video on how this was working, and I still didn't really comprehend most of it. But from what I've seen, it's like a little, I want to call it an insert, but it's not really that because, I mean, it is, but you don't have to solder it in.
It's like plug and play.
And then, yeah, it's a plug and play situation. There's the right terminology for it. But like I said, what I liked most about it was because we're technically don't have a disc in there, it's going to automatically send you to where you can choose the options. Like if you was to hold in any button on the original GameCube to get to your memory card save, or whatever settings you needed to get to inside your GameCube. And then you go to, and whatever games you had selected off the emulator, you would choose those games and it would load how it would normally load for the GameCube. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it's kind of similar to what I have in my, I don't know if my orange GameCube right there. Orange one, it's called a GC loader. So what it is you take the optical drive out, the laser, take it out, and you put the GC loader in, and then you run your games off an SD card that way. But with this, it's different because you don't have to take your optical drive out. You can leave it in, and it gives you that option to still play disc games if you want to, or you can play them off of an SD card with this flippy drive is what it's called. And then the launcher that's on the flippy drive is called Cube Boot, and that's what Colin was talking about with if you hold down the A button when you're starting up your GameCube, the cube spins around or whatever, and it goes into where you can load the game from the menu. You go select the game and hit start on the controller, and it boots into your game. So that is the launcher. Instead of whenever you turn on your GameCube, it would spin the cube, and instead of I think when you push down on the joystick, it would take you to your memory card, and you could all the little icons on your memory card you could access. Instead of your memory card, it'll be all your different ROMs. You can select what game you want to select and play it that way. So I thought that was really cool that you can still play your disc games if you want. It's no solder, so it's friendly for anybody to buy and just plug and play. You still have to take your GameCube apart to install it, but it's 4 screws to get the case off. So it's not hard. It's really friendly for anybody that's afraid to solder or anything. I think it's a really good thing, and I'm happy that the GameCube's getting a lot of support this far down the road, because it's my favorite system of all time. There's been a ton of love for it in the past couple years, but I'll just go quickly try to read through this. It says it will have the following specs and features: no solder internal install into the original disk drive slot, load games from SD card, load games over Wi-Fi, no software patching, games can run stock, like I said on this, built-in game selection without using Swiss, which is another launcher that I use on my orange GameCube. Currently, it's the only launcher for the GameCube, but Cube Boot is going to change that. And it says also support for loading games with Swiss, which you can use Swiss as well. Uses commodity parts, making a shortage unlikely. Not sure what that is. Original Nintendo disk drivers are not destroyed to get connectors, so it keeps everything stocked. Keep your original disk drive installed and play physical discs, which is optional. You can take it out if you want. You don't have to play physical discs. And then it says upcoming features in early 2024 that won't be with the launch is Bluetooth controller support, which is pretty cool. And then it says configuration with BLE using PC or phone, so you can link it to your PC or your phone, to your Wi-Fi, and put more ROMs or whatever into it. That way, you don't have to always take out your SD card, put it in your computer, put ROMs on it, and put it back. You can do it over your phone or your PC. Also, upcoming add-ons is USB drive loader, which means you could put more games on like a external hard drive and put games on it. And then a USB game controller. So you could plug in your controller, like a Xbox controller, for a USB and play it. So you don't have to play it over Bluetooth, or you don't have to use an original GameCube controller. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. And I mean, worth telling people about, because like you, I know you're not big on emulation and everything, but this could be something that you could put in your GameCube. You don't have to solder or anything, and then, you know, whatever. Because soldering scares a lot of people that's never done it before, and that's not used to it. I don't have a problem with soldering, but I know, I mean, it takes practice, but a lot of people are scared of soldering, and it turns a lot of people away.
I just don't prefer to take apart perfectly good things that aren't broken.
Yeah. So this way, I mean, it's plug and play. You don't have to worry about tearing up anything. Alright, that's 30 minutes, but there's at least one more I want to go over. The next one, it can wait till next week, the next two. The last one's what I really want to talk about, because I thought that was really cool. Super Mario Sunshine mod gets a release date.
Yeah, Super Mario Eclipse, which, I mean, it's posted by the Eclipse team, has officially revealed the release date of Super Mario Eclipse, with the mod expected to arrive next summer. The trailer confirms the full mod will be released in June 30th, 2024, with players able to try out a demo of the mod, showing off some of Super Mario Eclipse's new features and mechanics. The trailer shows some sort of new environments featured as part of the Sunshine mod, adding iconic locations like Peach's Castle from Super Mario 64, reimagining Sunshine's Bianco Hills. The upcoming release of Super Mario Eclipse looks to follow a plethora of impressive mods from the franchise's recent games. Sunshine previously received some modern love with the Flood mod for Super Mario Odyssey, allowing Mario to use the jetpack's unique techniques within the Switch platformer. Super Mario Bros. Wonder has already received plenty of mods, adding beloved characters like Rosalina and Kirby to the franchise's recent return to the 2D platformer. Super Mario Eclipse stands to be an impressive addition to Mario's expensive mod library and welcome return to Super Mario Sunshine. So, the issue with this is, I mean, it's a great trailer. Watched it. It's about 1.5 minutes long, so really recommend you going out there and watching it if you haven't watched it. But the only issue is since they put a release date on it, if Nintendo's going to be waiting for it to really release and then shut it down. That's the only issue with it right now.
Well, it could, but if they get the source code out there, then there's nothing Nintendo can do, because then anybody can go and fix the game up and re-release it. Kind of like the Link's Awakening. But I also heard on a podcast today, actually, that is pretty close with internal Nintendo, and they say that Nintendo doesn't mind fan-made games as long as it doesn't compete with something they're selling on the market right now. And basically, they're advertising, Eclipse team is advertising this game as Super Mario Sunshine 2. And Super Mario Sunshine came out 21 years ago, and there's no Super Mario Sunshine 2. So unless Nintendo is in the works of making Super Mario Sunshine 2, I don't think this is really threatened by Nintendo, because Nintendo said that they actually like seeing what people make with their fan-made games, their fan base, their creations, their imaginations and everything. So I think as long as Nintendo's not making Super Mario Sunshine 2, this should be okay. But
Yeah, I mean,
it is
hence
Nintendo,
the name,
and
but
they may shut it down. You never know, but I think this will probably be safe, because they haven't had any intentions of going back to Super Mario Sunshine. Super Mario 3D All-Stars in 2020 was the first time they've even acknowledged Sunshine being existing since it came out in 2002.
Yeah.
It's basically the black sheep
Is that
of the 3D Marios, even though it's my personal favorite.
people didn't want to get. People didn't like the flood mechanic. Thought they made it too easy and everything else.
It's still a challenging game.
Oh yeah, I never said it was. I've never got 121 shine sprites.
No, me either. But yeah, so
But yeah, I'm glad to do.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool. And there is a demo out there. I am in the middle of making it, I guess, because to make the demo, you have to get their patch file, have an actual copy of Super Mario Sunshine on your PC, and put the patch file on that. So you can't just download the Eclipse file. You have to actually own a copy of Super Mario Sunshine and patch the file yourself and everything. So I'm in the middle of doing that. I'll finish that after we record tonight so I can play the demo. But I'm really excited. I think the demo has like 37 shine sprites you can collect. So it's not like a really short demo. It's pretty long for what it is. So I'm really excited to try it out. But it says they have like new moves and movement mechanics and different things. So they're adding a bunch of stuff. Basically, like I said, they're advertising this as Super Mario Sunshine 2.
Yeah, because in theory, with 37 sprites, if you was 100%ing the Mario game, that would put you right around a third of the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a pretty big demo, actually.
Especially if they make it to where it is, the same level base, like you go into a level, exit a level, go in, go out. That would take a hot minute to get all those shine sprites, but you don't know if those shine sprites are going to come from like blue coins and stuff like that as well.
Right, like Al Delfino, they had some just in the hub world there you can go and collect or whatever. So there may be some of that. If this has a hub world, which I'm sure it will, and I'm sure it's not open world, so I'm sure it'll have a hub world of some sort. It might be Al Delfino again, I don't know, but I'll let everybody know once I play it.
Oh yeah. And teach me how to do it in literally a couple weeks.
Yeah. Once you get everything set up.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought this was really cool. Let you guys know. And I don't know, I'm really interested in this kind of stuff, and it's really cool. And Super Mario Sunshine's my favorite 3D Mario game of all time, so I just wanted to share it with everybody.
Definitely something worth sharing.
Yeah. Alright, that's all the time we have, guys. We appreciate you for listening or watching. Remember, you can always watch us live on Twitch and YouTube, and you can join our Discord server, come chat with us, hang out, get any updates to our podcast. We have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, like I said, Discord, Twitch, YouTube. Buy merch on Redbubble. We have a link to BetterHelp in the description of every episode, so go click on that if you have any mental problems going on. Colin, you have anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Later, guys.